Hello. You caught me clicking on something.
Which is happens more than once.
Add to cart.
Nothing like highly professional people that you're going to watch live video with. So I'm Guy Kawasaki. I'm in Santa Cruz, California, and this is a Wednesday. And what does Wednesday mean? It's Wisdom Wednesday. And what happens on Wisdom Wednesdays? You get some new episode from remarkable people. Today's guest is Sarah Stein Sternberg, and she is the boss of the D School at Stanford. The D School at Stanford is this, it's kind of an odd duck at Stanford. It's cross-functional, cross-dimensional, cross-topic, cross-departmental thing where you learn about design, and not just design in the sense of, drawing stuff, but design of companies, design of systems, design of products. And it's one of the coolest parts of Stanford, really.
I think her name is Sarah Stein Greenberg. Just to get that
shit. I wonder if we should reshoot this.
No, I think we're fine because we're
if we're live, we can't reshoot it, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
So
anyway,
her name is Sarah Stein Greenberg.
Yes.
Well, listen, it's no worse than people saying, I love your book, Guy. Yeah, okay. Which book? I wrote 15. Oh, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Oh.
Yeah.
That's Kiyosaki.
I actually had
Kawasaki.
When I spoke in Denver the other week, I said, I produced Guy Kawasaki's podcast. And they say, I love his books. And I said, which one? And they went, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. I went,
no,
I don't think
no.
She goes, no, I meant Enchant. I know who you're talking about. And he was really embarrassed because he wanted to know that he knew the difference, but it was pretty funny. So I'm like, he tells that story.
Speaking of that, we should invite Robert Kiyosaki.
That would be a good one. Yeah.
Then if we're both on at the same time, it proves that there's two of us. We're not the same person.
But I think it would break the internet, or we'd go back in time, or something weird would happen if you get both of them on the screen. Yeah,
we'll all go by DeLorean.
People do like his book, and also you can ask him if everybody tells him if they tell him that they like Art of the Start.
Yeah, I'm going to ask him. You know what we should do? We should have a episode where it's me and Robert and Jackie Chan. That would be epic. That would be
what we
epic.
should do is just for a contest. And by the way, we should do this in Circle, which if you want to join the community, you could go to bit.ly/remarkable people circle. Make sure it is case sensitive to join that. But a contest for that, we would just flash all those different people, the pictures of Jackie Chan, Guy Kawasaki, Robert Kiyosaki, and they'd have to count how many times it was actually Guy, and they would win a prize.
Well, it would be like CAPTCHA. Click on all the squares where there's Guy in it. That would be funny. That would be so freaking funny. Have a picture of Jackie Chan, have a picture of Robert Kiyosaki and me, and put it in this CAPTCHA thing.
That would be
do
funny.
that.
That would be good.
That's actually, now that you're saying that though, that's actually really racist. It's like the Hispanic actresses. Obviously, well, I'm just saying it. No, I'm not saying you're racist. I'm saying people getting people mixed up because there's all the like all the
Selma
Hispanic actresses.
Hayek and
and people get their names wrong. They're like, and here's Rosie.
What about
Perez?
Morgan Fairchild? Morgan Freeman, and who does he get confused with? He makes a joke about it. Morgan Freeman and
Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. Get the fuck to sleep. Yeah.
And we've gone off the rails.
That was the worst swear ever on the live show, people.
Right. Sorry, folks.
Did you see that? That is a pretty funny video. You gotta admit, if you're a parent, you truly relate to that video.
So something
you know
should
what I'm
relate
talking
to.
about, right? I'm not imagining this, right?
No,
yeah,
I know what you're talking about.
No, you don't know, or no?
No, tell us which one it is now, but don't say the F-bomb again.
The Samuel L. Jackson where he's reading Goodnight Moon.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
Yes. So we'll put, boy, howdy. So see what happens but this is a great episode. You can find it at remarkablepeople.com.
There's no swearing on it.
Well, there is swearing. But you can give us a rating review. Tell us what you think about it by just holding up your smart device and clicking on this QR code. It'll take you right there. And we love a rating review. In fact, we read them sometimes on the podcast. If you would like to have yours read, make sure you do that. Leave us a rating review because it does help the podcast out. But today episode, where the icebreaker is, do you create designs for work? So I think, tell me if I'm wrong.
Who
Remarkable
doesn't?
people. Yeah, like exactly. Right. I think more than ever, that is just sort of like, you have to do that. That's what is expected of you for almost every job that you're gonna do. You're gonna have to design something.
Yeah,
so,
right.
I mean, could just be a weekly summary email or something. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Shayla's had to do that when my daughter had her internship. She was coding. She was doing she was QA. She does QA for computer science, but she would do the presentations and she would do them in Canva. She would make these Canva presentations, and her boss was always like, "You're amazing." And she was like, "Thank you," because they didn't. It was when Canva was new,
right?
And now he's working for her.
I think he's still her boss, but she loved using it though, because she made great presentations. So yeah.
So this first question, Peg, that you had about, you talked about Sarah believes design is not just for people who think of themselves as designers. We're going to ask, do you agree or disagree? And so,
right.
Do you think this is happening less? I think most people think that they have some sort of design bone in their body. I mean, some people say, I'm horrible. Like I don't dress myself. I used to go to the mall and just see what was on the mannequin, and I would buy what was on the mannequin. That's how
TMI.
I'm not saying like I went to Victoria's Secret or something. I was just normal, like the Gap or whatever. Yeah. So we have gone way off the rails on this one. But I think more people think that I can design something, like with tools like Canva, or even going to Pinterest and seeing what other people are posting and then kind of putting something together. So what do you think? I mean, is it just for people who think they're designers or not?
It's for everybody.
I think that it used to be. Going back to when before everybody had computers and stuff, it wasn't possible. Things would be hand drawn and then transferred in different ways. But now I think everybody can make some kinds of designs. And when Canva first came out, when we first were involved with the Canva launching for the US in 2014, designers were very angry. Graphic designers, anybody that had that kind of title was like, how dare you use this? How dare you tell people to use this? This is, this is going to be the end of civilization as we know it. Everybody's going to use Comic Sans. Papyrus is going to come back, and it didn't. It's true. Those things were said. Those were actual quotes.
Yeah, right.
You could go back on my LinkedIn. They're probably there from people saying it, because people were so angry. But the thing is, Canva democratized design, but that doesn't mean that you still don't need people that are higher levels. And there's so many ways that professionals that are 100%, that's their job, have been able to even get more work by creating Canva templates, creating brand kits and doing all the things. And then they're in there for people. So it basically opened the world up. It may have evened a few things out, but
that's like, quote unquote professional writers saying word processing has killed writing and it should only be professional writers. That's ridiculous. And I remember, this is a great story about designers. Now I'm going to piss off the entire industry, but I wrote a book called Enchantment, and I held a contest for the cover design, and I gave $1,000, I think, for the winning cover design. But I got such hate from the professional design community, because what I was doing was fostering a contest where 750 people entered and one person won. So 749 people, they said, were ripped off because it was spec work, and you're not supposed to do spec work. What you're supposed to do is meet with various professional designers, explain what you want, get proposals, and then agree on one and pay that one. So, but I just wanted to democratize it. And the person who designed the cover for Enchantment was like an engineering student in Jakarta or something. I mean, and it was like totally out from left field, but he had the best design. And so do I feel bad that I ripped off an entire industry, or do I feel good that I helped one kid who never would have had the exposure get the exposure? And guess which way I feel.
Right. Well, I think that there's a lot of, you talked about Canva and some of the other places, like even, I mean, you could even say like some of the ride sharing things like Lyft. The reason that's working is because you get the driver that's closest to you, and it's the cheaper thing than getting a taxi, and that's why they're working.
Another way to look at it is, I don't know any other industry where you don't have to pay the price. So in speaking, you give hundreds of speeches for free, and then eventually you start getting paid. How about being a programmer? You take programming tests, you go to hackathons, you do a lot of stuff for free to prove that you're a programmer until you get hired. So playing music, acting, all that kind of stuff. It's not like every high school drama student is getting paid $250,000 to be in the drama club. So, that's just the way it is.
Of course, Matthew McConaughey was from Longview, where I am from, so I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I know that Lincoln Mercury, capital of the world. There are more Lincoln Mercuries in Longview, Texas, than any other city in the world.
Who knows? All right.
It is interesting, though. I mean, some things have taken jobs, like word processors. I mean, it used to be that people had like an assistant, and the assistant would do all the correspondence, and then the boss would just sign it. And now everybody does their own, for the most part. Most people do their own communication. Obviously, some people have people helping them with email, and probably nobody prints out letters and signs them, but it would still be cool if they did.
Do you remember the last time you did that? I literally can't remember printing out a letter and signing it.
Do you want me to show you what I do? I send out cards. They're from Canva. So they're little Canva cards.
And that's not a letter.
But it's a handwritten card.
But it's
so
cool.
I have a card, and then I write a note on it.
That's nice. Yeah, have you ever gotten one from? I haven't gotten one from Peg. That's pretty. I mean, she's got a whole box of them.
Have you bought any soap? So I made these little cards in Canva. So I do that because nobody else does that kind of thing anymore.
That's a good idea. That's great.
And
you send notes, Guy. Sometimes you send notes.
No, I send a note in every interview, but with a gift to the guest. But a printed letter like "Dear Peg."
Yeah, that kind of letter has been a long time.
But like when you send out
DocuSign has changed the world. I don't sign anything except with DocuSign.
But you did
so that was my point. Some things have kind of changed and taken jobs away a little bit. Like, it used to be an entry level job. You could start as a receptionist or
like Jane Goodall.
Yeah.
And me, by the way, Jane Goodall. And who else was it? There was someone else.
Ariana Huffington.
I don't think Ariana.
I don't know.
Ariana
was royalty from the first get-go.
Yeah. So anyway, I did though. I started at Merrill Lynch as a receptionist and worked my way up to whatever. But that's not even around anymore. That you
gotta let Jeff
answer
talk.
The phones.
No,
you gotta let the white man talk.
What are you talking about? My beard?
He's got to get his foot in.
Make Texas great again.
So, I was going to say that, but you do something like that, because when you sent out your book, Wise Guy, you had a specific, you said something, you signed it, and you had a little note in it when you sent that out. I mean, you called me George, but other than that, it was really great.
There was a cookie with it.
Yeah, and it was a cookie. And there's some, I mean, to Peg's point, the personalization is really, really important. So,
I think it means more now than it used to even. But I mean, that's just the thing, that people now send email. You don't send people a letter that's, but I do send these little cards out, and I handwrite little notes on them. So
that's cool. So,
and I make them in Canva.
I send out merge or socks.
That's true. So how do you inspire creativity when you need it? That's the thing. So another question that Peg has come up with that I think is really good, because I'm fascinated about.
Is all about that.
Yeah, I'm really fascinated by creativity and what makes it, and how do you inspire it, and how do you get it when you need it. So, Guy, what do you like when you're coming? I know you have certain talks that you do, and you kind of refresh them. But when you need to be creative, what do you do to inspire creativity?
Oh man, I hate to burst your bubble, but I don't consider myself a creative person. I just work my ass off.
But that's being
So
creative. I mean, writing 12
is a
books.
creative
Yes.
pursuit.
Yeah. That is
Writing
I mean,
counts.
no, but to me, and I'm somebody, I have 15 books. To me, creativity is when you go to the Louvre or something, or I don't consider, or something that just breaks ground, new category of something,
But
I'm not in that. I don't
I think
consider
you're
myself
more
in
of
that
a you're
category.
more of an analytical writer. You do your outline and then you just
Yep,
complete your outline, then you go back and edit it. So I don't think you think of that as a creative process,
I
but
don't.
once you get in there and you're editing, it is creative, but you're in the flow at that point because it's what you're focusing on. So I think you do it, but I don't think you think of that.
so
Like
would
think
No,
about when you were in Australia editing a book and you were like sitting at Bondi Beach. I think that was the place. There was a cafe that you went to.
heaven.
You had Yeah, you have a little ritual. So you get your computer. I'll tell you your creative process. You get your computer, you go to a
Yeah,
place that's amazing so you can look
yeah.
at the ocean, you get coffee and you start editing. Am I wrong?
No, you're right.
Peg's always right. So
So
Yeah,
now if we want another
Peg
book,
knows
that's all we
everything.
need everybody. No, I'm
PKE,
just saying
Peg knows
you
everything.
don't think about it, but that kind of is that's the flow that I know that you do.
wouldn't you say
And
some?
then when you're working on it, you just
Yeah,
keep
but
going until you're
okay.
done.
So like take somebody like John M. Chu. Okay. I think that
Yep,
he's creative. I don't think Guy
he
is
is.
creative. John M. Chu is creative.
I think
He's
people would
next
argue
level
that you're not
creative.
creative. Yeah.
But
There's
that
different
doesn't mean that
types
you're
of
not
creative.
creative.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Jeff.
I'm saying there's different types of creators. Wouldn't you say there's some
Yeah.
creative surfers that you watch or you look at and see?
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
you wouldn't think
Yeah. I
surfing is creative, but more of a skill. But I think there
think to use a bizarre example, I think Marquise Brownlee is very creative. He's changed how YouTube is used.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He's such a cool example because he started as a teenager, and I
Yeah.
love watching his early ones. He's just this really young kid in the neatest bedroom that any teenage
That's
kid has
right.
In
ever
dorm. It was
had
a
in the
dorm.
history.
Have
Yeah.
you
Wasn't it
reached out to
college
him?
dorm?
Have we reached out to him?
Okay, I had him scheduled. Okay, this is a great story. I had him scheduled, and it was a trip. This is when you're doing interviews in person. So I was going to interview him on the way. I would land in Newark, interview him, and then go to Kennedy, then go to Manhattan to interview Ariana. But the flight was so delayed. I said, I'm going to come back to New Jersey and get you, but I got to get Ariana right now. And I think maybe I insulted him. So ever since then, he's not answered my email.
But Marquez, if you're watching, we
Yeah.
really would love to have you
Yes,
on
you
because
would
we
be
are
amazing.
big fans
Really?
and we love what you do.
So so anyway, okay.
So
I have an
Guy
idea.
is really
I have
sorry
an
that
idea.
that happened.
Yeah, it was United's fault.
So speaking
It
about
was.
creativity, and we mentioned her name many, many times on this podcast, but Morning Pages
Mhm.
from Julia Cameron. So I know you still do
Mhm.
it, Peg, every morning, if I'm
I
right.
try to do the 3 pages every day. It does help me a lot in my creative process. So if you're not familiar, Julie
Three,
Cameron, yeah, 3 pages.
3 pages
Yeah,
a
you write.
day?
Yep.
That's a lot.
That's what she recommends. So you write 3 pages a day. It's in the artist way, and it helps. Like you're supposed to not look at anything else before that. So no phone, no reading
Uh,
anything, nothing else. You just get up and you write, and it just like it's the stream of consciousness. It doesn't have to be about anything. It could be about something. Just get
mm.
going and just write 3 pages. So
By the way,
you would, yes,
I mean, we need to mention that John M. Chu and Julia Cameron both have episodes of Remarkable People.
that's true.
Yes,
They are
they're really good.
remarkable, and also they've been on the podcast.
That's
So
why
anyway,
they're
yes,
on the podcast.
Julie Cameron is I like morning pages. It's a great process for just like the hardest thing is to not look at anything else before then because obviously I look at my phone. You
Yeah.
have to be like, don't look at my
Guy
phone.
called
But
me.
the first thing is you want to look at what time it is, and then next thing you know, you're looking at Instagram.
Yeah.
We got to flush the cash.
But seriously, that is a great one. If you don't know what morning pages are, go back. I'm sure what the episode number is, but go back and check that one out because
Yeah.
it's a really, really good one. And
Mhm.
John Hughes.
Don't forget Sarah.
Yeah. Yes.
She's all about the
That's cool.
institutionalization of design and creativity at Stanford.
which is very cool. So I wonder who's been through that class. It's interesting. Some of the Stanford classes, like the people that have gone through it have like created what's in Silicon Valley right now.
Yeah,
So the
basically.
design thinking process, they're the people that are going to create in that school. They're going to be the ones that are creating the next generation of customer service, UX, and all that kind of great design. Because there's a lot of things that go with design. It's not just creating graphics. It can be like creating an app, working on an app, building a website, customer experience,
sound design.
It could be a business model.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is all about creativity. Have we talked about our circle yet? Because that's amazingly creative, because Peg put it together. She's amazing. So if you want to know more about and be part of our community, make sure you go to Remarkable People Community. You can find it at bit.ly/Remarkable People Circle. That is case sensitive. So just enter what you see on the screen there. And there's going to be all sorts of cool things there that we want to make sure you guys sign up for. In fact, right now, if you have like a remarkable person that we have just totally forgot about, that we haven't crossed our minds, we would love for you guys to let us know somebody that you think would be remarkable for the podcast. Now, they've got to be truly remarkable, because Guy has got a high standard. Like, that's why I'm not on screen right now. But there's a lot of...
I wouldn't even invite myself.
So there's a lot of... There's a high standard there. But we'd love to know who you think should be on the podcast.
The name of the circle reminds me of that book. What was the name of that book that was like about Silicon Valley? And Emma Roberts was in the movie. Not Emma Roberts.
Emma Stone.
Oh darn! I'm totally blanking. The girl that was in Harry Potter.
Emma Watson.
Emma Watson. Yeah, and Tom Hanks.
I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
It's
the only name I recognize there so far is Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
You don't know Emma Watson?
No.
So
it was a book. Wait, let me pull it up.
Anyway, so make sure you guys go to the podcast. Here is the if you want to get an easy way to get to
it was the circle
where you can leave a rating and review. You can just click on this QR code. It'll take you right there. And we would love for you to leave one, because we will sometimes read those on the podcast. So leave us a rating and review. That really helps us out.
Okay, so The Circle is the exact name of it. I was correct. So it was a movie that Emma Watson was in. Nope, it's about like a Facebook kind of. It's like a Facebook / Google kind of deal, and it's a social media company, and it's really cool. But the thing is, it's all kind of science fiction, and there's a character in it who's like based on you, Guy. Because Shayla and I both read it. Yeah, Shayla was like, "This character's Guy," because his initials are the same as yours. So I'll have to find it. But it was a 2007 movie. But it's funny that they named it The Circle, because this is kind of like showing the bad sides of social media and how you can get too over involved in it.
So if you have seen this movie, let us know in the comments, because I haven't watched it. And what is the score on Rotten Tomatoes? Because I don't know. When was it? You said the 2000?
It actually was a good movie. I actually really liked it.
But John M. Chu said, don't pay attention to Rotten Tomatoes scores.
Yeah, that's true.
The book was by Dave Eggers. I swear you know the book, Guy, because we talked about it when it came out.
Uh-oh.
What was that?
She's got mad and throwing things.
Wait. It's not in the shot. Here, move it over to...
I am so bad at
It's reflection. Okay.
Oh, I remember that book. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just kind of like So anyway, we should find Dave Eggers and have him on, because he wrote. It's kind of like the back end of social media and the social networks and stuff.
Yeah. All the bad stuff.
Like a science fiction. Yeah.
So I remember that book now. Yeah.
So anything else about Sarah's episode that you want to tease, Guy, before we sign off? Because anything about creativity and design, I think we're gonna.
Well, she also talks about the impact of the pandemic on creativity and design, which is quite interesting. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, think of this as going to Stanford for free for an hour.
Well, we've got a lot of Stanford people on there. It's more than an hour. We've got a lot of good Stanford alums on this show. So
yeah.
Anyway, with that, we thank you guys so much for watching today. Make sure you do go to remarkablepeople.com and click on everything. Get on the circle that we have.
Not case sensitive. You can capitalize the R or the P or not. We don't care.
That's right. Remarkable.com. And at our circle at Remarkable People Circle, which is case sensitive. So make sure and we'd love for you guys to sign up for that and join us there as well. Peg, anything else?
That'll be it. Thank you guys for watching every week and tuning into the podcast. We appreciate you.
Yes, we do.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.